by doing this people will feel inspired, and I do feel inspired.
It puts students at the heart of their own learning.
It's not just turn up to a lesson, play from a book.
It inspires people to play music and stuff, yeah.
We found that when students have a choice in what they bring to the lessons and what the lessons focus on, it engages them more. They're more interested in their own learning and more engaged with their own learning and more motivated to do more, really. So it really drives them and makes them enthusiastic about their music making and attending their lessons as well. The ILP is at the heart really of student-led learning because it's a way in which the teacher finds out about the student's interests and it gives time for the student to share their interests in the lesson as well.
An individual learning plan is where you sit down with the pupil in the initial stages and you say, right, what is it you're interested in? And they can then mind map what they want to do to have targets set and meet those targets.
Well, the individual learning plan really is, it's quite an open approach in a certain sense to teaching, in that we actually talk to the young people, try to encourage them to come up with ideas, to inspire them to have the enthusiasm to play really, and to get their instruments out at home and to experience music, to engage with music, to listen to music, to attend concerts, to look into composers, to look into bands, to just explore really an adventure in music and trying to get them to do that coming from themselves, as opposed to us telling them what they're going to learn, telling them what they need to do and that kind of thing. So what did you like last term? What was one of the things you liked most?
I liked in grade 1.
Yeah?
Using GarageBand.
Yeah.
Quite a bit to improvise.
Okay. So why don't we put that down then? So what could we do? What could we sort of do with the GarageBand? Do you think?
Create a track.
Create a track?
Yeah.
So is that something you sort of played around with before?
Yeah.
So that's really cool. So we could perhaps incorporate that into our violin playing, create a track, and and record the violin. So we might need a recording studio. Do you reckon we could try and get that to happen this term? That'd be really cool, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Okay, so if we write down here then, so we're going to try and create a track, and perhaps try and record in a recording studio, if we can. All right, Callum, this is it. Wow, it's awesome. It's about trying to broaden our own horizons as teachers and actually introduce different ideas and different genres and performing styles to our students and breaking ourselves out of our own boxes and trying to actually develop our own ideas and not stay static with what we're trying to do with the kids and the young people and the students.
Cool. Okay, so that's that bit done.
Working in this way puts the teacher less in the role as being the person who always has to know everything in the lesson and more in the role of being a facilitator. I think that teachers who work in this way see that their students are really engaged with their music making and with their learning and are really inspired to come to lessons. And I think teachers then feel that they are seeing the progress of their students and are really involved in that journey that the student has and can find it quite inspirational as well.
It's made me want to run all my lessons like that because I've seen how being led by the pupil has helped their learning. They've wanted to do more, so it works across the board now.
Yes, it does work. It takes a bit of getting used to, and it takes a bit of bravery to actually set aside the time and to communicate with the students in a slightly different way. I would say there are probably lots of teachers that have already done it, teach like in this way, but for a lot of us we haven't done that. We've tended to stick with grades, tutor books, you know, in a set form that perhaps we learnt ourselves when we were children, but it isn't a great departure from how we've been teaching. It's guided by us. We aren't just letting them do whatever they want. We're encouraging them to explore.